Hello everyone, welcome you all on our day number 13 free bug hunting class. Today we are going to discuss about manual testing. So before this video, in our last first to 12 video, we have discussed about vulnerability assessment, different type of tools that we use during the bug hunting. Now from this video, after this video, we are going to study about manual testing, different bugs that are present in the application, and what will be your approach in order to find out that particular issue into the live website. After that, we will also learn why this vulnerability exists in the application. This is a very important question. Let's suppose if you are also the one who, when you open your target and when you tries to find out a bug in the application, and you have a question mark, a blank, that what will be my first approach, how I can identify the issue. Maybe you have already solved multiple labs like Portsugar lab or multiple other labs, but when you go on a live website, you are finding challenges while finding a bugs. So this series is going to be a very much helpful, because in this I will be telling you about the logical understanding of the bugs, so that you will be able to find out this bug anywhere over the internet. So that's the best part of this particular series, that it will be a live testing approach, so that you understand where to identify this issue and how to identify this issue. Okay, without wasting time, let's get it started. So now this is a word file. Okay, so first of all, we'll talk about the introduction of XSS. The name itself say XSS, so it's a cross. X means cross and S means site, and this one is scripting. So XSS is a vulnerability where attackers inject some JavaScripts in the victim browser. Now this is very important thing that it mentioned in the XSS cross-site scripting. Basically, attackers insert JavaScript script into the web application, into the web app, so that it runs in against of the browser. So inserting a JavaScript into the application is simply called in a cross-site scripting. And how a bug hunters do this particular thing? So the main thing is that, like, the approach wherever the user is able to enter the input into the application, that is the insertion point through which the bug hunters also tries to inject a JavaScript into the application. So let's suppose there is a form, there is a search bar, maybe there is a login page, anywhere, wherever you are able to inject something, your input plays a very important role. Wherever you are trying to input any data into the application, there is a possibility that not all the fields are getting exploitable, because there is some certain condition that we need to meet before we exploit this vulnerability. Okay, the first thing that we need to see, if the application, the first thing that you have to see on a live application, like it should contain input fields. If the application do not have an input fields, then there is a very less chances that we are able to identify. Now this input fields not only on the body part, like on the web page, but also on the URL. This is a URL. Okay, on the URL also you will be able to identify whenever you are able to insert a JavaScript into the URL. Okay, there also you can try to find out this vulnerability. Now everywhere you will see two things. One is a parameter. This is a very common that we are going to discuss in our upcoming video as well, equals to value. These two things very much important. Okay, one is a parameter. So let's suppose if you are filling a form, there is a name field is there. So name is a parameter, and the enter that the user input, it's a value. Okay, so name is a parameter and value is Tapan, and maybe there can be any other parameter as well. Email can be a parameter, and your email tapan@gmail.com, understood, will be my value. So this is a pair of combination, parameter and value, and where we insert the JavaScript here in the value part. Okay, in the value part we need to insert a JavaScript. Now what is this JavaScript? So for this, basically you have to read some basics about JavaScript. I recommend you, like, see, in this video you will be able to perform the practical. I will give you the payload, that's okay. For that you don't need a job to learn about JavaScript. But if you wanted to get more advanced into it, then I recommend you to learn JavaScript. So for learning JavaScript, you can use W3 School. Okay, very good platform. You can use this. Okay. So if you have a basic idea about JavaScript, then you are able to insert JavaScript. You are able to understand different type of a JavaScript which are present over there, and you understand what you are writing. That's really very much important. Most of the bug hunters even do not know what is there inside the payload. Now, what is this payload? I will just explain you once. Okay. So let's suppose if I am writing a JavaScript over here, script tag start, alert function, okay, then tapan, then semicolon, script. Okay, the format is like script tag start. It's a start script tag, and it's a end where you put a slash. Okay, so here you can see this is start and end. Here I am using a function. Alert is a function, and whatever text that I wanted to prompt, give an alert on the screen, that's a input. Okay, so Tapan, whenever you insert this JavaScript into the application, it gives you a pop-up on your screen by saying Tapan. Okay, so this is how basically you write a JavaScript. Now I know this because I know JavaScript. For a beginner or for a script kiddies, they will just copy this thing. Okay, they will paste it. They will start pasting it on different websites. So that's why I always recommend to my students at least to learn basic fundamental of whatever attacks that you are going to perform, so that not only at the surface level you will hunt the bugs, but when you go inside the application, when you tries to bypass that validations, you are able to understand what you are doing actually. Understood? Now what you have to do, so this is what we call XSS. Now what is the key point? So server return, server trust, user inputs. So what is the biggest issue that we have is, like, whenever you are trying to input anything into the application, your server trusts that it's a correct input that the user is trying to fill and submit on the server side. So if the server is trusting on the user input blindly, it is not verifying that is it actually correct format or not, then this vulnerability exists. Browser trust server response. Sometime whenever you are, let's suppose if I will ask you what is your name and you give me the response, my name is this. Getting a point? So this question reads to you and it's come back to me. So basically, as you can see, it's a reflection. So if the user is sending some JavaScript, okay, now it reaches to the server, and from server it again come back on the user. In that situation, we can identify cross-site scripting vulnerability. It's a one part of it. I will explain it in a practical form as well. Okay, so browser trust server response. So it means that input that is coming from a server side to my browser, if we are trusting that, then it's a issue. Attacker abuses this trust. A trust between the browser and the server, and server to a browser, it is basically exploited by an attacker. Now how the attacker will exploit this trust, I will let you know in practically. Now first of all, let's do a small practical so that at least you understand. Okay, I'll just give an example. This is a dummy website. I will also inform you this, that doing web testing or pen testing or bug hunting on any website without permission is an illegal thing. So please stay away from these type of things. Do not practice, okay, like this. Always, if you wanted to get a whitelisted domain, so you can try HackerOne. You can create your account HackerOne or a Bugcrowd. I will just show you that, so that you can try and you will not HackerOne. You can try on this. You can create your account as a researcher. You can also use Bugcrowd. Okay, these are the two websites where you can create your account. After that, you can explore. Here you can see hacker login. Go and create your account over here. Okay, you will see multiple organizations, having their bug bounty programs. Finding vulnerability in the whitelisted domain is a right way of doing a bug hunting, instead of hunting bugs on any random website. Will definitely lead to some unethical causes. Okay, or maybe it will lead to a damage to your reputation, maybe some legal liabilities actually. Okay, so that's why please focus on these website, or maybe if the organization are offering any paid bug bounty program, use that. Now let's suppose this is a dummy website. You can try this one, demo.testfire.net. okay, now here you can see there are multiple information that is displayed over here. Now first of all, in the comment section, do let me know where you are able to identify the input fields where you can enter something. First thing you need to identify where is the input fields, because input fields are the first way through which the attackers tries to communicate with the server and tries to identify the issue. The first issue that we generally identify is the input validation, that whatever user is trying to input into the application, server is validating that input or not. So from my observation, I can see my search bar is there. I can type my name over there. Okay, instead of this I will just type subscribe. If you are not subscribe our channel, I request you please do subscribe, because there are more videos that are coming into this series. It will be very much beneficial. And if you forget to hit the like button, please do that, guys. Okay, now here you can see whatever I have written into the input field of a search bar, it's reached on the server, come back on my browser again. So let's suppose if I tries to enter some JavaScript over here, let's see how it works. I will just okay, JavaScript. So this is a script tag close, script tag start, then after that alert brackets. Okay, I will just type XSS. Now what you have to do, just copy this thing, so that next time if you wanted to do it, maybe you wanted to make some modification into it. In our upcoming videos, we will also learn how to bypass these type of a security if they have implemented some kind of a security to prevent cross-site scripting also. Okay, so when I click on a go, so as you can see, my input, whatever I have entered into the application, okay, the application takes that and input, it reach on a server, and from server it reached directly on my browser without verifying is it actual input that user is trying to enter. So let's suppose they are not verifying if this is input is a malicious input, it is a JavaScript, it can be a HTML code, it can be a some commands. So if they are not verifying, because of lack of validation into the application, attackers insert our JavaScript and run in against of your browser. This vulnerability is called reflected cross-site scripting. Although the severity of this vulnerability is low, but then also when you see this, the severity of this vulnerability is low, but it will provide you an approach to identify issues into the application. So I think now you understand the concept why XSS exists. Now here you can see, now what is the real world impact of this XSS? So what happen if XSS exists in your application? I will just show you one more. So as you can see, there are multiple type of real world impact that can happen just because of the cross-site scripting. So first one is a cookies theft. So basically we have different type of functions, like document.cookies function is there, through which you can extract cookies from the browser as well. Then session hijacking can also be possible, like in our upcoming videos we will be discussing about session hijacking topic as well. Then there is that account takeover vulnerability, through which the attackers can take over the existing user account. Then fake login forms can be there, like the attackers can try to display some fake login form over there. Data exfiltration tries to extract, hacker is trying to extract some data also. So there are different type of a real world impact that happen when there is a cross-site scripting actually exists on the application. So as you can see, just now we have done a cross-site scripting, a small example of it. Okay, so in our upcoming video we will also see why XSS exists, because when you are trying to identify the issue into the application, the first approach that where this vulnerability exists, the first thing that you need to see why it exists. If you know why it exists, then you can identify this issue easily in any application. It doesn't matter it's a dummy application, it's a live application, but you are able to identify that only when you know why this vulnerability exists, in which feature this vulnerability exists. If the feature is not there, then there is a less possibility of of this vulnerability into the application. So in our upcoming videos, in our next video, I will tell you why XSS exists. That's all for this video. If you have any doubts or any questions, feel free to write down in the comment section. In the next video, we will discuss about why XSS exists. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.